Perhaps your business model looks good on paper or on canvas, but have you thought about how your business model look in practice? Did you ever experience that your business model seems impossible to implement? Wouldn't you want to know this before you invest your time and money in it? So far, we talked about business model innovation. We have learned that product and service innovation was enough in the past, but not anymore. Business model innovation is becoming the next frontier to create value for stakeholders and to remain one step ahead of the competitors. Note that product and service innovation should not be underestimated, but business model innovation goes further. It combines new products and services with new customer segments or markets, new cost and revenue structures, new relational networks with suppliers, and so on. In the past 2 decades, there have been many studies that help to advance our understanding about what business models are and how to make one. This has brought us to new challenging questions such as how to actually evaluate a business model. Imagine a cloud-based healthcare platform, or simple words, an online bazaar that helps various healthcare providers to provide their products such as medicine dispenser or panic alarms and services such as housekeeping, socializing, etc. to patients or elderly in need of help. It is clear that a business model can be used to describe the logic of the business. The business model helps to flesh out how various stakeholders benefit from the platform. However, from a practical point of view, it's essential to find out whether all the stakeholders can operationally contribute to execution or implementation of the concept. For instance, can the service provider's information system be interconnected? Can the patient's client's data be secured? Can the payment process be enabled across the platform? Do the providers even have access to necessary data? Or can the platform be scaled up when the platform has a lot of visitors? Therefore, it's fair to conclude that business models are necessary to understand the logic of the business, but not sufficient to grasp the complexity inherent to business model execution. Without network thinking and insight into relationships and interactions between the stakeholders, the feasibility and viability of business models can hardly be evaluated. Also, without informed understanding of business model feasibility and viability, you're prone to make ad hoc, reactive decisions around your business model design, which leads to suboptimal or locally optimized business model. Metaphorically put, you're sailing without a compass. As a consequence, severe setbacks are to be expected in the execution of the business model. Even those business models that seem promising through STOF or STOF, Canvas, or any other high-level business model framework. Be aware that 100% failure-free implementation is neither possible nor desirable, as you want to learn from the problems that arise throughout the execution. However, a better understanding of a business model complexities help the execution to be managed more effectively, for instance, with less rework, coordination effort, conflicts, or quality issues. Here, the VIP framework kicks in. The VIP framework is developed on a solid theoretical foundation and empirically evaluated in a PhD project by myself. The framework is a simple, intuitive, and integrative model that helps to systematically evaluate if a business model is feasible and in practice. It's essentially useful when your business model relies on multiple partners. It does so from 3 interconnected perspectives. The first perspective is value, which focuses on all value-driven resources such as cash, intellectual properties, equipment, and other assets. In this perspective, we have to analyze interdependencies and responsibilities that exist around the value-driven resources in the network. Some questions that exemplify the value aspect are: what are the intended and unintended negative and positive network externalities? That is, what is the collateral damage benefit to whom, by whom? How should the cash flow be shared among which actors? Who is responsible if a service or agreement fails? How should which IPs be safeguarded within the network? Or how can a new partner join the network? Next is information perspective. Information can be and sometimes is considered as intangible asset. However, given the existential role of, in any network, we gave information its own spot within the VIP framework. Especially the prevailing trends of digitization, data-driven businesses, cloud and mobile computing, etc., emphasizes the role and impact of information more than ever. The information perspective focuses on data and information, as well as knowledge management systems and experts needed for the execution of the business model. The information perspective includes questions such as what information data is required by whom, what information sources are inaccessible, what data is of strategic interest, how information is actually flowing through the network of actors. Process is the last perspective. Within this process, the IT infrastructure and operational processes within and between network actors are evaluated. The idea is that business model implementation is carried out and enabled by several business processes and IT infrastructure. Hence, these processes should be evaluated as well. Note that with business process, the focus is not the fine-grained functional level processes that are often captured in business models or enterprise architecture, but a handful of primary business processes that you need in order to run the business model and realize the intended value proposition. Typical questions in this respect include what information systems are required by whom, who has the jurisdiction or authority over what part of the process, who is responsible for what system errors, and what processes need to be integrated, etc. To sum up, the VIP framework forces you to think about implementability aspects, which are largely dependent on the operational interactions and interdependencies between the stakeholders. The interactions and interdependencies revolve around value creation and capture, information generation and access, and process interoperability and accountability. A few iterations between the creative process of business model design and analytical process of VIP evaluation helps you to improve your business model implementability just before setting up a project or pilot study to run the business model. Without these details, you're sailing without the compass. The VIP framework helps you to systematize your thoughts and insights about the business model implementation with slightly more details than an average business model can provide. After all, devil is in the detail.